Students, we have studied in detail Bohr's model for atom, Bohr's theory, its importance, its applications. But this theory suffers through serious limitations. Surprising, no? Yes. Let me know what are the limitations of Bohr's theory. The first, foremost, and important limitation is theoretical failurity. Yes. Bohr wanted to stand on both pan with no explanation. Means I want to say Bohr was using classical approach whenever, wherever he want, and was using quantum approach whenever needed. Exactly which approach, when to use, why to use, about which he has not given any explanation. Example, I give it to you. In order to explain the orbiting of an electron around a nucleus, what Bohr said, centripetal force and centrifugal force are matching to each other. Means he is in the frame of classical mechanics. And additional thing he says, energy of electron in ground state, stationary state is fixed. Energies are quantized. Energies of orbits are not continuous. If centripetal and centrifugal force are matching, then at this distance, very next distance, very next distance, for this energy, very next energy, very next energy. So, for continuous energies of electrons, centripetal and centrifugal force should match. An electron should orbit. But he was saying energies are fixed for the orbits and those are quantized. Means if here is a one energy, say stationary orbit energy, ground state orbit energy, then higher energy level will be with some distance. It is not continuous, will be with different value. So different energies, different values of energies he has considered from Planck's concept. That's energy is quantized. Actually, electromagnetic radiation, that is a photon. For that he has used that quantum word, quanta word. So he quantized energies of electrons. So energies are not continuous. But why for he is saying that? No explanation was there. That's a theoretical failurity of Bohr's model. Are you following what I am saying? If centripetal and centrifugal force would have been there, then for different distances, at very continuous distances, nearby distances, he should explain. But no, wisely he was saying centripetal and centrifugal force is there, but energies are not continuous, energies are fixed, energies are quantized, and energies are not continuous. In order to explain practical observation, he was with that opinion. He was with the postulate. But right explanation he could not give in his era, in his time, in his period. That is his first limitation, theoretical failurity. Second limitation is related to one of the application. Actually, Bohr could properly explain the spectras, spectral series. So different wavelengths, even for Balmer series, we have worked out to find 4 different colors in the visible region, and the wavelength we have derived also different series right from Lyman, Balmer, Paschen, Brackett, Foon and Humphreys, lower wavelength, higher wavelength, everything we did the calculation, we proved also. So we feel how correct Bohr's model is. But wait, whatever the Bohr could explain, That was not fine spectra. That was not detailed spectra. Rough spectra Bohr could explain. Means when Balmer noted a wavelength 656 nanometer red colored emission, then nearby that 656 nanometer further emissions were there. Means finally, if you observed, if you magnify the spectra, then you will find nearby that 656 nanometer other wavelengths also are there, other emissions also are there. But here what Bohr did? Bohr has fixed the energies of the orbit. Bohr is strongly, confidently saying that the energy of emission will be 656 nanometer. Yes, it was there, it is there, but nearby 656 nanometer, whichever the lines were there, those were observed in the fine spectra. Bohr could not give explanation for those fine lines. Bohr failed to explain fine spectra. It is his second limitation. Now, third limitation again is related to the spectra. What was a practical observation? The emitted lines somewhere were with low intensity. Sometimes they were with large intensity. So about energy he said, about energy gap he quoted, but about intensity of radiation, variation in the intensity of radiation, he could not give the explanation. To make this concept clear, only other example that I give it to you. If you see the colors of the various compounds, few compounds remain strongly colored and few compounds pale colored, weakly colored. Means transitions whichever occurs there, those are not allowed transitions or poorly allowed transitions. And therefore the colors are weak or what the strong when the transitions are allowed, when more probability of occurrence of those transition is there. So about the probability of occurrence of the transition, about intensity, Bohr has not given single explanation. Is the third limitation clear? Now fourth limitation, Bohr's theory is applied to hydrogen and hydrogen-like species. Means one electron possessing species. Means it can't be applied to sodium atom. So one electron possessing species only for which we are applying. Multi-electron species are not considered. Multi-electron species were with some complications and Bohr could not explain those complications. Bohr could not explain multi-electron system, or Bohr's theory is limited only for hydrogen and hydrogen-like species. Means hydrogen, helium plus, lithium plus 2, or likewise if I continue, carbon plus 5, nitrogen plus 6. Are you getting this point? Now I inform you the fifth limitation. Bohr said that angular momentum is integral multiple of h upon 2 pi, or angular momentum is equal to nh upon 2 pi. So quantization of the angular momentum. Why does it occur? Or expression for that he has given, but proof for that is not given. Now in few books you will get the proof. What they are doing, the de Broglie or de Broglie equation, which came 10 years after Bohr's theory. That expression people use and they prove how angular momentum is integral multiple of h upon 2 pi. But Bohr has not given the explanation about the angular momentum and its integral multiplicity. So proper clear-cut explanation was not given. What is the reason? Theoretical failurity. Therefore Bohr could not explain angular momentum and its behavior properly. Now sixth limitation is about the lines observed, spectra observed. It is found spectral lines are affected in presence of magnetic field and in presence of electric field. Means whatever the spectral lines we observe, if we conduct the experiment in presence of electric field or magnetic field, further lines were observed. Splitting of the lines were observed. As like the fine spectra that I said. Now, even if you take a fine spectra, then in presence of electric and magnetic field, further splitting of the lines was observed. That splitting of the lines in presence of electric field is called as Stark effect, and in presence of magnetic field is called as Zeeman effect. That is not explained by Bohr's theory. That was a practical observation, but Bohr's theory could not explain that. Now, last limitation of the Bohr's theory. Bohr's theory could explain the atom who are hydrogen and hydrogen-like, but Bohr's theory could not explain the formation of molecules, means about the reactivity of the atom. Bohr has no explanation. Bohr could not explain the ability of atoms to form molecules. So chemistry Bohr could not explain. It is a main limitation. Therefore, student, it is a need to discuss the advanced theory, advancements in the chemistry. And truly, whatever the advancement took place after the Bohr has changed the scenario of the chemistry and our understanding and overall the technological world. So what are those changes? Who changed this world? Who changed our perspective or ideas or understanding about the atom? And what exactly atom is? If Bohr's model is not correct, then which model is correct? How is atom? Let us see from next part. Now student, I give you the homework, and as a homework you have to write in the comment box formula for energy as per Bohr's model, formula for radius as per Bohr's model, and formula for angular momentum as per Bohr's postulate. Let us revise. Is homework clear?